The Center for Trade Policy and Development has been working with the local community of Sinazongwe, especially in the coal mining communities, through its ally, the Natural Resource Watch Committee. Sinazongwe is a town in the southern province of Zambia, lying on the north shore of Lake Kariba. It was established in the 1950s as a local administrative center, while its main industry now is carpenter fishing, the coal mining business, and traditional pastoral and subsistence farming. The emergence of Sinazongwe, with currently its great potential for tourism and alternative energy, stems from the history of the construction of the Kariba Dam Wall and the resultant Lake Kariba. The Kariba Dam project was planned by the government of the Federation of Rhodesia and Nyasaland. To dam the Great Zambezi floodplain was in many ways a hopeful leap into the future. Literally, thousands of wild animals would lose their habitats, and more importantly, the local villagers would have to be relocated. Analysis of the economic advantages convinced the authorities that the ultimate benefit to the people would outweigh the loss of wildlife and disturbance of people's lives. Clearly, it became evident that the relocated 57,000 Gwembe Tonga and other affected people were not part of the planning and management of those initiatives, and the people felt that the money was limited, late in coming, and there was no community input in decision-making of the dam and resettling of the people. Apparently, only 650,000 British pounds were allocated for this relocation exercise, which was insufficient.
I was born in 1946, 21st March. And first I was born on the middle of where the lake is now. Then in 1958, we were transferred from the lake. Because of the lake, we were given money for the houses we had, even the fields. And we were also given a chance. To look for where we could settle. For that one, we did, and we were brought here. And when we found this place, but there were already people who we found. This was 1958.
After Zambia got its independence and embarked on an ambitious program of national development and industrialization, a lot of industries came up away from the traditional mining industry on the Copper Belt and Kawe and their support industries. From the various mineral explorations done throughout the country by various companies, the area around Sinazongwe indicated signs of very important mineral that was vital to the already thriving copper industry: coal. Zambia has produced coal since 1967. This was at the coal production site known as Mamba Coal Mine, an open-cast mine. Demands for coal has always been relatively low in Zambia, though there have been exports within the region recently. The other coal mine came up at Nkandabwe, later called Kolam Coal Mine, approximately 30 kilometers from Mamba Coal Mine, 20 kilometers from the Sinazongwe Boma, and 7 kilometers from Sinaseze Sub-Boma. Its operations began in 2002. It is an underground mine.
We have 2 mines that are already established. Obviously, others are yet to also be established, and that is MCL, Mamba Collieries Limited, as well as the Kandabwe Coal Mine, which is also called Kolam Coal Mine. So basically, those are the 2 mines that are already functional, and activities are actually happening.
The coming of the mining activities to Sinazongwe district should certainly have been a blessing, as it provided the much-needed economic activities and inspired a better life for the inhabitants of Sinazongwe and the surrounding areas. As everywhere else, the story of Sinazongwe is that of mixed blessings.
Usually, we are not consulted as leaders. These are only done to the people who are educated. There is no respect to the traditional leaders. If there were some consultations, things should have not been as they are now. Because when you hold meetings alone, minus leaders, where we don't know when you were when you met there, you had your own round table, but there's no leader around, no consultations, and you just make resolutions which cannot quickly be accepted by the villagers, by we leaders. And that's why you find that sometimes some of them to be implemented cannot be taken quickly. It's because leaving out we leaders. From the beginning of any project, from the beginning of anything that you'd like Zambia to have a change, it must be done together with us. And if it's not, then some of these projects and other activities are delayed in getting implemented because we are never there.
That time, because they didn't even interfere us, no. They never touched us. But we were in the circle when they were surveying. We found that this where we are staying, we are in the circle of the coal. But they didn't. They were told that to take about 100 years when they could touch us.
Even when coal mining should have brought smiles to the people of Sinazongwe, with it has come the usual conflict that is perennial in most developing areas, and the villagers of this area, which was more of a resettlement area following events of the construction of the Kariba Dam, have had their share of challenges.
Bagabola manasha kusia kwa kushogo bajunzia mwogo mwabona kalongaga bariwoga bitonta kumbero ke yankulundika manasha tuya manasha so manzi akabola alanjiro mubatega bonse bali munzo mubanywa bali munzo Maria manasha city. So bantu bakama kujiswa magana manasha. Linga vile kitu amba kutawenti bakwasia. Mwakubona ku bridge ya kulangana mbuti. Kuno ngatu wajisilwa nato wajisilwa mainza. Munongoge wazula. Twabula mputu inda kuya mutara omenya, kuya kutipia kujipatera. Takwa ka bridge gakuti mkwili parabyo twatonta atagwe. Nkupenga panga munonga wakati eno ugayu minini. Awe muntu okulufu watiyeni mfabia. Utanezi. Twaliwe ya utimbo bakabolo bridge vyo kabatubikira. Ogu mumanasha kabatabikima manasha kabakai kawo kumunonga mpate kuto kunonga mbuga. Igatatu wabola mbuleno kulisi yota nyunda mutulimo tonta panga makilo mu myunda munsi manzi abola mwali kuli mwakwayinda manzi kuti babuchulira myunda yonse yatyeni yamana kufa twabona kuti tawe pa babola kuti tyabi mukuwa wabola.
Any activity, any project at an end in a district, whether it's in the village, consultations must be done. That's the most important thing. That's how we can develop. That's how the projects can get implemented quickly. Village, we have community-based people. We have headmen around them. From the headmen, we have the chiefs. These things, whatever project comes in the chiefdom, the first person to have a knowledge before it is displayed is the chief. The chief is there to call his subjects, introduce the type of the project, whether it is a policy. This is how it could be. We are not going to develop properly and we are not going to develop quickly if we cannot be making this coordination. Coordination is the most important thing, this is communication. That's why you find that most of the things have got these communication breakdowns because of not coming to the people. People must be consulted at all times.
Over the years, mining management has changed hands with new investors and investments. For Mamba Collieries Limited, 35% is owned by government through ZCCMIH, while the majority shareholder with 65% is Nava Bharat of Singapore. The two shareholders have developed strategies to run the company as an integrated coal mining and thermal power plant company. The thermal power plant project is being implemented in phases, with the first phase producing 300 megawatts. On the other hand, Chinese Kolam coal mine is privately owned and Chinese, run essentially by 5 brothers of the Zhu family from China's Jiangxi province. It resumed its operations in April 2015.
There were less activities that were happening. There were a lot of accidents that were taking place in these both mines, especially Kolam Coal Mine. This was a major challenge to the local communities. Safety was quite very bad, and until recently it was just opened by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zambia, Edgar Chagwalungu, where now they agreed between government and the Kolam Mine to look into issues of safety for the local people and their workers. Mamba Mine, as they are running their mine, the number one thing that they have really put up, the social corporate responsibility, some finances that they'll be able to use. They have a percentage, 1 ton of coal which is sold, there's a 2 to 3% that is given to the corporate social responsibility, which goes towards such like schools, roads, clinics, and any other that will be required to be done in the community.
The Zambia Environmental Management Agency is a regulator for all environmental matters in Zambia, including licensing, monitoring, and enforcement of laws relating to the environment.
For mining operations, for instance, they'll get different licenses. They get a license for discharge of effluent, for waste management, hazardous waste, for air pollution itself. And they themselves, as a mining facility, submit statutory returns to us as a regulator, where we check to see compliance to those. So at this point, we would have to be very specific to a period because the findings would differ from season to season. But I think what I can safely say as a regulator is that our goal is to ensure that the mining facility are operating within acceptable standards, and where there are flaws within the system, we have requested for commitment from mining facility on what very, very specific goals or steps that are being taken to address the gaps that might be prevalent in their operations.
Most of the problems that are being faced actually for those communities that live near the mining areas, they are facing problems like pollution of water. They are complaining of drinking dirty water, and their animals drink dirty water as well. The water is being polluted from the mine, and the fields, the mines are trespassing into their fields, and also relocating them to other places while leaving their livestock.
Mamba Coal is getting water from a chiefdom. The pipeline is from a chiefdom in Shalwa, where they are getting water for their washing plant in Mamba. And whatever pollution is being brought, and our small rivers have been affected. You cannot bow down and drink this water, even including our animals. It's completely polluted. We were usually, before this mine was set, we had the river called the Ganzenze River. We were getting water by digging, by using hand. And if you are a cyclist, you could bow down and drink. At this time, you can't. And all the natural dams have been sealed, and you cannot wash anywhere. All these dams have been sealed, and you cannot use soap on your body. Water has changed its attitude. The soap will be on your body, and it will never come out. These are the problems. And the water taste have all completely changed. Our animals, if they are drinking, and if you want to skin one animal, maybe a goat, maybe a cow, the intestines have changed, the colors. They are black completely. Therefore, when travel...
I'm actually aware of the complaints by the people, especially from borehole water, that the water is not as clean as it should. And we've sent our health inspector to try and just get some samples. And I think just now, about 3-4 boreholes, he has taken some samples to Lusaka, but he hasn't given me the results yet.
The walls of coal mining in Sinazongwe are also entrenched in the land tenure by the operating mines. For the 2 operating mines, Mamba has leasehold tenure, with a very big expanse of land engulfing many villages, while Kolam coal mine sits on customary land.
We see from key reports such as the EITI that a number of license holders, are also holding quite large portions of land. And looking at that, I think it's very important also that we try and frame a minimum, standard for which land can actually be accorded or given to any one investor. Because when you look at certain licenses, the land hectareage that is being held is too huge. And so one always brings in the question of, what happens to the local community? What happens to their normal livelihoods? Because much of that land is supposed to be arable land. It's supposed to be land that is being used for agriculture.
Well, I think Mamba, as it is there, is actually predominantly a mining area, and much of the land there is actually in the hands of the mine. What has happened now is that the mine itself want to let go of part of the land to try and make the council responsible. Predominantly, the whole of Mamba is actually in the mining area. The title obviously is under the MCL, Navabarat now.
There are no royalties that our communities are receiving. No royalties the chiefdom is receiving. Both of these mines are not actually given good policies which guides them, in which our communities can get happy with these mining industries.
We had an outdated valuation law that was done by the time when Sinazongwe was a sub-center of Gwembe, and that gives us very, very negligible amounts of money. I think it's just somewhere in the region of 15,000 on a yearly basis, but we have finally